Hello, I'm Sam from Jessup Says. The focus of my channel is to share and educate on how to buy less, buy better. It's not necessarily about buying less things, it's about buying something that fits its purpose perfectly and serves you for as long as possible. As it begins to warm up down here and cool down up there in the north, I thought it was a good time for me to reflect on what I've been wearing most over the past winter to hopefully provide some inspiration and guidance for what you may want to wear in your coming winter in the colder months. The garment we're discussing today is undoubtedly one of my most worn things over the last few months, and almost a year. And if you followed me on Instagram, you're probably already aware of what we're going to be talking about. Though on reflection, I suppose the title of the video probably was the first giveaway. This item is the item that started me wearing navy again, a color that I'd sort of sworn off due to how boring and sort of common it is these days. It's an item that my wife liked so much that she got one for herself. It's of course made by Informale, and it is the WS50 work shirt in navy. Into the description from the website, the design is actually modeled off a heavily worn vintage factory workers shirt from the 1950s out of France. The WS50 is an interesting hybrid between a jacket and a shirt. Could be a shacket or a jert. It features two deep chest pockets with flap and hidden button fastening. The front placket covers the three buttons under here, and it's unlined throughout with French seams inside. All the buttons are horn, and there is a double row workwear stitching throughout. The WS50 is designed to be easily thrown on over any outfit, with the two deep chest pockets designed to carry your phone, wallet, keys, etc. with ease. The minimal design ensures an elevated look which pairs perfectly with tailored pieces just as well as casual wear. We decided to produce the work shirt in a British moleskin to emphasize the WS50's workwear roots and allow it to age beautifully over years of wear. I couldn't actually have explained it better myself, so nice work there, Sven. A very good summary of what this garment is. Getting into a few more details, the model is the WS50 work shirt, the color is the navy. It is made in Melbourne. The material is 100% cotton moleskin of 300 GSM, which is woven, dyed, and sourced from the UK. The construction has two flappy chest pockets, as we said before, the covered front placket, three buttons. All the buttons are horn. There are actually two spare buttons on the outer right side. And of course, the cuff is a single button closure. The fit is described as a relaxed workwear fit. I'm wearing a size large, which fits me pretty much perfectly with knitwear underneath if I need to. It's pretty much true to size in terms of a large. And the cost is 430 Australian dollars or around 280 USD. Before we discuss the details of the work shirt and even go into a bit of how I wear it, I wanted to discuss what a work shirt even is, because I feel like it could be a few different things. Now, to the elephant in the room, yes, you could do work in this shirt, but the kind of work that I personally do is more like behind a keyboard and not, down in the mines, so to speak. But yes, this work shirt is sort of more of a light jacket, which I might use as a layer under a coat or a raincoat, or often I just use it as sort of a substitute for a sports coat or sort of a midweight, lightweight jacket. There are other styles of work shirts out there that are closer to a shirt and are intended to be worn as a layer by itself. This is definitely not designed like that. You definitely want to wear something underneath. It's designed to do work, I suppose. As for the miners, a work shirt may have been worn in mining, but more specifically the moleskin fabric that is used is very similar to what Australian miners used to wear, and it's a very tough and resistant material, a great working material, so that's that connection to those people who do actual work. Onto the fit, this thing fits exactly how I would expect a large to fit. It's designed with plenty of room underneath to allow layers if you need them to be. But if you're just wearing it with a t-shirt, there's plenty of airflow to make it very comfortable regardless of the season or the weather outside. I've seen it worn by people of pretty much every body shape and size, and I've never really seen it not fit nicely. So there's definitely a size out there for you. My wife actually wears an extra small and hers fits really, really well. It's a little oversized in its style, but she wears it basically every day. So there you go. The material, as I mentioned before, is the moleskin, and it's really what makes this work shirt practically the most comfortable garment you'll ever own, and a garment that you probably end up packing and picking up most of the time that you leave the house, even if it's not remotely cold, or at least that can be said for both my wife and I. It's actually the reason that my wife has one in the first place, so I'll tell you how that happened. I was up early and getting ready for work on a Saturday morning. My wife was still lying in bed, and I had a bit of time to kill waiting for my ride to arrive. So, wearing my work shirt, I was laying in bed, cuddling my wife for a bit, and she was, sort of feeling the fabric and saying, wow, it's so comfortable, it's so soft, it's so lovely. In my head, I was thinking, yeah, of course it's soft, it's lovely. Like, I wear this thing all the time, it's soft and lovely. Like, yeah, okay, no brainer. Anyway, later on in the day when I was at work, I get a text from her, do they do that in green? Female, of course, do. And it's a lovely olive color that my wife happens to love, so I picked her up one that day. Now she wears it, like I said, pretty much every day, and she loves it as much as I do mine. It's all a bit of a long-winded way to say that this moleskin is one of, if not the softest fabrics I've had in a jacket, and it's sort of a soft, tough, fleecy material. It's not too hot, not too cold, breathes really well on a hotter day, keeps you nice and warm on a colder day. It's not that wind resistant, but if you pair it with something like a little gilet or a little vest, then it's just amazing. You can pretty much do it all. It's a really fantastic material, and it is actually softened even further and patinated with age, just ever so slightly around the edges, and I know it's going to patinate even more over time. I can assure you this thing feels built to last. It's not a softness in a flimsy way, it's more a softness in sort of a reassuring, nice blankety way. It is of course top quality fabric sourced from England, where it's woven and dyed. It's only the best, as we expect from Informale. Anyway, enough of that, let's talk about the construction. So, as we've discussed, it's designed off a French factory worker's shirt from the 1950s. As such, the design is really unique. It's simple but functional. Informale have played with the proportions of the original design, updating them to a more modern lifestyle and body shape. And the two patch pockets at the flap covering the buttons are actually extremely functional and useful. I often have things in one or both of them. I can feel there's something in there now. I'm not sure what that is. I'll look at that afterwards. Things like keys, sunglasses, my asthma inhaler, my wallet fits in there without too many issues. I can fit all of those things in there at the same time, and that's often how I do it when I'm leaving the house. I love having pockets. The covered front placket and the 3 hidden buttons keep the front nice and stealth, which sort of allows it to be worn as more of a nice dressed up jacket. The same with the cuffs, which are sort of a nice, simple, clean, single button closure. There's one other place that you'll find those 2 extra buttons on the right hand outer side of the jacket. They're basically there because they were on the original garment, and Steve, the owner designer at Informale, liked the detail, so he included it as a bit of a homage to the original design. We've discussed a little bit about what we think it could have been originally for, and best guesses are maybe to hold a belt of some form, but obviously it's a little bit lower than it may have once been. I think it may have been a bit more of a crop jacket, so yeah, bit of an interesting and pretty cool detail. It's the cute thing on this particular garment. All the buttons are of course horn buttons. They're nice and big and easy to use. The collar could be described as one of a kind, unmatched and intricate. It may be like a spread or open version of a typical French workwear collar, but neither Steve nor I know exactly what it is, so let's just talk about how good it is. It's very comfortable. It works well as a layer or over base layers. It works well down, like it is now, or fully up, or sort of somewhere in between. It can do it all. It even provides a nice little buffer against the wind, if you have a particularly cold day. And I'm not a fan of scarves, so this kind of does it all for me, which is another reason to love this thing. Of course, it's made by Informale, literally just up the road from me in Melbourne. A part of my channel that I want to develop, and one that gets a lot of requests in the comments, is how I wear things. Honestly, a lot of my hesitation to show this is my belief that maybe I'm not the best person to provide this advice. I'm not a stylist, and I definitely still struggle to think about what combines with what. Though, admittedly, this feeling is getting less and less as I grow in confidence and learn from those around me who are more expert than me at it. But today I wanted to take a stab at showing everyone how I've been wearing this, and hopefully that can shed some light on how you may want to wear this. I hope to develop this kind of section of the video in future, so any suggestions that you have are greatly appreciated. I think for the work shirt, it's important to understand exactly how diverse and useful it is and where it fits in my wardrobe to help people imagine how it may work in their wardrobes. Firstly, I'll quickly mention the color. It's of course navy, a color that everyone will likely be very comfortable and familiar with, and probably very comfortable wearing and pairing with different colors. This particular blue is a nice deep navy with little pops of highlight sort of, around the edges. Very, very faint at this point. Where it's starting to fade out a little bit. It's very easy to wear with pretty much all colors, from grays to browns to greens to whites. So let's not really talk about that, and let's talk about specifically how I would wear it. The first way I'd wear this work shirt is over top of a sports shirt, because I need to quickly pop out of the house and I might need a layer. I'm a sucker for a good Lululemon, and the work shirt works over top of it as a super comfortable layer that will keep you warm but not too warm on any given day. It also means that the sports shirt is sort of hidden, meaning you look a bit nicer and a bit more put together and tidy if you needed that. Same can be said for pretty much any other t-shirt on a mild spring day, out to coffee, or whatever it is people do these days. It's a great thing to bung in the back of your car or chuck in a bag and just whip it out should the need arise. Because it doesn't crease and it's pretty light, so easy to cart around with you. I often wear it over knitwear on a more cold day, which sort of steps up the formality at the same time in a way, and it's a great simple option for even the coldest days here in Melbourne. I particularly enjoy it with a mock neck. It means that it's always super comfortable against your neck, and it's all nice and warm. And in this particular sort of combination, I would probably pop the collar, because that's just how I like to feel it. Another way you could wear it is with an OCBD, as I have been for this entire video. It's sort of the most formal way, and it's more like a substitute for a sports coat or a nice dinner or a day in the office, I suppose. Of course, you can wear knitwear over the OCBD as well if you want, if it's even colder, and that'll look just great. The work shirt also works great under a coat, like my other navy outerwear, which is my walking coat from Informale, or under a big wool coat if it's a really, really cold day. But today it's a bit hot to show you that, so just use your imagination. The final thing I wanted to talk about is the collar and the buttoning. I like to wear the collar in all different ways depending on the outfit and the weather, so don't be afraid to mix it up. The buttoning is a bit more nuanced. I mean, geez, we're talking about nuanced buttoning, but I hope this kind of level of information is helpful. Quite often I leave the front unbuttoned altogether. I sort of like to fold the collar out a bit like this, and it sort of forms a bit of like a fake lapel or a faux lapel. It's from there that I usually button up the middle button, which is the second one. And that's probably how I wear it most of the time, with the collar up or fully down. In my opinion, it works well pretty much either way. The next button that I would personally look at buttoning up would be the top button, which normally I do when it's pretty cold or windy, because it's really good to protect the front of your chest, like this area, which can make me quite cold, or just makes me cold in general. And then often I don't like to leave the collar up like this. It's a little bit too work weary for me. So I tend to pop the collar, which keeps my neck nice and warm. It's of course a nice fluffy fabric against the face. The bottom button, you guessed it, is used if it's really cold to get that full frontal protection. It's not really cold, so let's just undo that again. The only other buttons are on the cuffs, which are super easy to do and undo and fold back if it's a bit of a hot day, or I actually just like to wear them like that sometimes. It's pretty comfortable on a bit of a warmer day. And that's basically how I wear it. I hope that's helpful and what people are after. I look forward to the comments, and hopefully we can improve this section as we go. There, or rather here, it is my WS50 from Informale. This garment took me from having no navy to navy being one of the most worn things over the autumn and winter months, just because of this garment solely. It's so soft and comfortable, but it feels like it's made to last forever. A combination that make it easy to grab and easy to wear. I've become a big fan of the navy. It's actually nice to have something that goes with everything just as well as it does. The work shirt has become and is one of my go-to layers, and has been over the last 12 months or so. It will remain so over the coming years, I suspect, as will my wife's one. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Links are in the descriptions as always, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next one. Cheers.